Hello and welcome to this video on writing at work. This time we'll be discussing internet research. Specifically, we'll talk about the role of Wikipedia and other reference books and sites in your research before we move on to discussing a particular method of searching, Boolean searches. Those can help you get a much richer and more targeted set of search results. At the end, as usual, we'll cover some tips for you as you move forward. So, let's get started and move on to the subject of Wikipedia. There are 4 key tips on using Wikipedia, and indeed, these are also reasons why it might be a good idea to use Wikipedia. The first is that you can obtain a basic summary of a topic. If you're starting out without any information, a Wikipedia entry can give you a good sense of the general lay of the land. In doing so, you'll also start to get a sense of key terms, phrases, people, dates, and places related to your research subject. You should note those for further research off of Wikipedia later. You should also scroll to the bottom of the Wikipedia page and pay close attention to the references that are listed there. This part of a Wikipedia page is its bibliography, and it provides you with some breadcrumbs that you can follow later on in your research. You might want to hit those listed resources next. And as a note, this is actually a great way to do research more generally. If you found an amazing article on the topic you're researching, head to its works cited, or footnotes or endnotes, and review the contents there to see if those are actually the next steps in your investigation. All of that being said, however, there's also a really good reason why college professors are wary of Wikipedia. It can be changed by anyone, and anything can end up there. Imagine my surprise, for example, when I discovered that the entry for duck sauce on Wikipedia actually contains a photo of the duck sauce packets I sent to a friend years ago. If my duck sauce can end up on Wikipedia, it's true that really anything can. All of this means that while you don't want to cite Wikipedia as a source, quote it, or paraphrase it in your work, you should consider Wikipedia as one potential springboard that can launch you to the reputable sources that you will refer to in your writing. And once you find those sources, cite them. Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Boolean searches. Boolean searching allows you to write your searches in a particular way that tailors the results you receive to your interests. Many people already do some light searching in this way by, for example, putting phrases inside quotation marks. When you do so, you signal to the search engine that you only want to see the results where the full phrase is present. But you can get even more specific with Boolean searching. For example, Boolean searches allow you to use the terms and, or, and not. And suggests that you want to see both phrases in any results. Using or means that you would be happy with either phrase coming up in your results. And if you use not, that means you want to see results where the first phrase appears without the second. That means if you were to search for cute puppies, not adorable kittens, you wouldn't receive any results with adorable kittens. Note, however, that not all search engines treat searching the same way. For example, here I want to do a not search. If I use DuckDuckGo, I can use the original method of Boolean searching and add the word not to my search screen. Google, however, wants you to use a minus sign. That being said, Google has some tricks that aren't strictly Boolean in nature, but are still superbly useful. You can, for example, have Google define a word for you just by typing define in the front of your search string. And in the example on the screen, I've told Google to return hits that are PDFs related to Romeo and Juliet, the book, rather than the movie. So finally, here are some tips for you on internet research. Make sure that you're using reputable sources. Do you know who the author is? Do you know the publication's reputation? Do you know their motivation? So for example, are they just trying to sell something? .gov and .edu sources tend to be a bit more trusted than unknown .com or .net websites. You should also use searching carefully. You can see how Boolean searches can get you some very specific results, both on the open web and from your library. But early on in your research, it might actually be best to search widely and explore more broadly. And speaking of exploring, remember that the purpose of completing research on the web or off is to learn what's out there about a topic. Don't just try to prove you're right. Research something to make sure that you actually are right. That concludes this video on internet research. I wish you the best as you go forth and search fruitfully.